Hey folks, Iolair here. Today is Tuesday, September 29th, and Wargaming has posted the final official details for update 099 to the World of Warships website. So whatever information we had from the development blog or the developer bulletin, those details have now been finalized. There often are some adjustments, and we often also get a few extra details about the content, which we definitely have in this article for some of the items. So the update will go to most of the servers tomorrow, Wednesday, September 30th. Check the article for your local time when your servers will be down. The European servers will pick up the update on Thursday, October 1st, and the update is 5 gigabytes. So if you haven't, if you haven't started an early download, or if you have a relatively slow internet connection, just keep this in mind. There's a link to the video featuring Dasha that gives a high-level overview of the update. The next section provides a summary discussion of the part 1 of the U.S. Battleship event, which I covered in detail from this article. And so I just suggest that you go watch that video or read the article for the details on the U.S. Navy line split and the first part of the event. Next is a couple of very important items that are ending during 099. So the Dockyard event to build the Anchorage will officially end October 26th. So anything that you need to wrap up as far as directives, buying, shipbuilding phases, etc., all have to be done by October 26th if you want the ship. And then secondly, the strong-willed temporary campaign, which rewards the historical European commander Jerzy Świerski, that will end actually in about 10 days. For my local time, it is 4 a.m. Pacific on Friday, October 9th. So again, check the article for your local time. But if you are looking to get this commander and are still working on it, just take a look at where you are. We just have, like I said, about 10 days left. Next update from the article is covers the Northern Waters season of clan battles. This will be, the event will start Wednesday, October 7th and end Sunday, November 22nd. It will be 7 versus 7 teams with tier 10 ships. Teams will be allowed to bring up to 2 battleships or 1 battleship and 1 aircraft carrier. There are no restrictions on the other classes. Rewards include up to 11,000 steel and other goodies. There are a series of maps involved, but what is most interesting about this season is that all of the maps can involve a cyclone, and the cyclones will operate differently from how they do in random battles. So the cyclone will take effect as soon as the battle starts, so teams will be able to immediately change their tactics to what they plan based on the cyclone being in effect. The cyclone will reduce viewing radius of aircraft to 8 kilometers. And then after the 4th minute of battle, the viewing radius by surface, being able to see ships from a surface perspective, will start to shrink. And after 30 seconds, that will be reduced to 14 kilometers. So unlike random battles where surface detection, or surface visibility, I should say, is reduced to 8 kilometers, in this season of ranked or clan battles, it will be reduced to 14 kilometers. And then after 15 and a half minutes, the cyclone will start to lift, and after 30 seconds, the effects will be fully gone. So that means that you would be in full cyclone effect for over 10 minutes if the game were to last that long. The motivation behind this, and I discussed this earlier in the developer blog update from a few weeks ago, is basically to get teams to, or encourage teams to develop more dynamic and richer complements of ships, because what happened with the previous season of ranked, or I keep saying ranked, clan battles, the meta became extremely dry and static. It was basically 1 carrier, 6 Venezias, and a Stalingrad, or some combination thereof. And so this is in direct reaction to trying to make the gameplay and the experience more dynamic. Whether cyclones is the right way to implement that or to encourage that, I don't know, but this is just something to keep in mind. There will be a further article on the clan battle season sometime in the future. Related to this is the reintroduction of the Mercenaries feature, which is a feature that existed in early 2016 as part of Team Battles, which was a precursor to Clan Battles. And this will allow a clan leader to invite up to one player from outside their clan, and that could be part of a different clan or not part of any clan, but invite a player to participate with the clan in battles. Now, I expect that you can change from battle to battle who the mercenary is, but in any particular battle, you cannot have more than one mercenary. And the mechanic is just to invite them as part of your division, or invite the mercenary as part of your division. The mercenary receives the rewards based on the current league of the clan that they went into battle with. The mercenary may also receive achievements and emblems for the clans based on their current league of the clan that they went into battle with. However, the mercenary will not receive the associated economic benefits of the clan. So clans build their naval bases. That gives their members buffs on coal, steel, oil, credits, XP, etc. that they can earn, and the mercenaries will not receive that benefit. And then the last point here is a mercenary from a different clan will be able to enter a battle during the prime time of the inviting clan. So based on when the inviting clan's clan battle time period is during the day is when the mercenary can join. All right, let's see. And then the last point here I think I touched on, you can only invite one mercenary to a division at any given time. Next item is Research Bureau. A couple of updates. First of all, we will get a victory bonus of 200 research points for Tier 5 ships. So today we don't get any research points for playing Tier 5 ships in a branch that we reset. That now changes. And then Wargaming is also now introduced a series of achievements based on the number of lines that have been reset. Note, however, that the achievement is only based on lines that you reset as of 099. So even if you reset, previous lines 5,827 times prior to 099, it won't count towards earning these achievements. There will be, another article on the Research Bureau apparently upcoming. All right, next is some changes to game mechanics, and I did cover some of this in the development blog post article from a few weeks ago, but we did get a few more details. So we are now going to, when you penetrate the main battery or barbette of a ship, the shells that penetrate will now reduce the HP pool of the ship that took the penetrating strike. So today, before 099, if you penetrate the main battery, you get a penetration ribbon, but it doesn't cause any damage in effect to the ship's HP pool. That now changes, so you will reduce the ship's HP pool. So that will help avoid some confusion and frustration I think players have had historically. However, Wargaming has also changed some of the other mechanics associated with the barbettes and the main batteries. So the damage dealt to the main battery turret modules themselves in case of penetration has been reduced 3.3 times, and the number of hit points for the main battery turret modules has been reduced by half. So just a reminder that ships have their overall HP pools, which is the HP bar that we see on ships themselves. But each module, so main battery, torpedoes, AA mounts, secondary battery mounts, etc., have their own, unrevealed HP pools, and Wargaming is changing how they are handled. So damage done to the main battery modules themselves, so their sort of private HP pool, or separate HP pool, I should say, is being reduced by 3.3 times. And then the number of hit points that the main battery turrets have is being cut in half. So from a math perspective, it should mean that turrets are more survivable. But the implication here, I think, is to have some balance so that damage to the main batteries themselves don't have an excessively large impact on the ship's overall HP pool. That's my interpretation of these 2 points here that I'm highlighting. So we'll have to see how that works. A couple other points here. The damaging effect of a ship's HP from shells hitting the main batteries can be restored completely using the repair party and specialized repair party team consumables. So if your ship's HP pool is reduced because of damage to the main battery, you can restore that with the repair party consumable. And then the last point here is the barbette models have been updated. So I'm assuming the geometry and some of the other sort of rendering characteristics and the armor characteristics have been changed. But Wargaming isn't specific here on exactly what that is. Okay, next, some visual improvements. So Wargaming is improving the quality of water rendering in all graphics modes. They're also making some adjustments to sunlight reflecting off of water. The spaceport is going to get a new lighting model. But then the next 4 points are actually quite important for those of you who play carriers. So Wargaming is changing how the reticles get rendered for aircraft carrier players. And this is they're not changing the mechanics of the attacks, but they're making the reticles more user-friendly, for lack of a better term. So the clarity of the reticles is supposed to be improved. So that's this first point. The second point is that the aiming reticles will no longer adjust to the changes of the terrain. So today, when a plane flies over terrain and the reticle goes over the terrain, the reticle sort of gets distorted based on the shape of the terrain. That will no longer happen. We'll have a separate visual cue that our terrain, that our reticle is over terrain, and the reticle will be transparency will be adjusted somewhat, so it's clear that your reticle is over terrain. But this should make the ability to attack targets on the other side of terrain somewhat easier. And then aircraft operating as part of a squadron will now position in a smoother way. The trajectory of bombers moving in on a target will change slightly, and any damage taken by the aircraft in the process will cause it to shake. So that I see is mostly just visual. Again, there's no changes on the mechanics. It will be interesting to know, however, on this last point, whether the shaking of the airplanes as they are taking AA damage, whether that will have some sort of impact on the ability to execute strikes, or is this just something that is, again, just visual and doesn't have any other material bearing? We'll have to see. And then the last point here is the visibility of aircraft aiming reticles on sunlit reflections on the water have been improved. So my read on that is Wargaming won't wash out the reticles when you're flying over water that has sunlight reflecting off of it. That's what I'm assuming here. So again, we have to wait and see what the game actually plays like once the update is out tomorrow. All right, few technical updates that are actually quite important. So a reminder that with update 099, we will be able to operate or play across all servers based on a single client. So today, up through 098, if you wanted to play on different clients, so like I play in North America and Europe, I have to have 2 separate installations, one for each server. With 099, I can limit that to a single installation on my client, and then I can switch which server I'm playing on. Note, however, that you will still need a separate installation for the public test server. That part doesn't change. And also note that you will still need separate accounts for each server that you play on, but at least the resource demand as far as disk on your PC will be reduced by having fewer installations. The next point is going to be important for folks that have relatively old or maybe very old graphics cards. So Wargaming is going to stop supporting graphics cards that do not support DirectX 11 features. So they've listed here the class of cards that are going to no longer be supported. So if you have an older graphics card, this is something that you're going to want to pay attention to. And then the last item here, which is very important for macOS folks, is that Wargaming will cease support of World of Warships as of update 0.10.0, which would be the first update for next year. So they will continue to update or continue to furnish updates through 0911. But after that, you'll have to make some decision about how you play World of Warships. But it will not involve playing on macOS. All right. Some content changes. The Franklin D. Roosevelt, which is the special Tier 10 U.S. Navy aircraft carrier, is now officially being released, and she will be available for 33,000 steel in the Armory. There will be lots of articles about the Roosevelt and her play characteristics, so I'm not going to get into too much detail here. Just for those of you who play carriers, this is going to be some news that you want to know about. Next is the Paolo Emilio, which is the premium Tier 9 Italian destroyer, will be available for 43,000 research points. And again, I'll save things for a separate video to talk about the characteristic of that ship as well. Some other changes. The Gothic permanent camouflage for the Bismarck has been added to the game. We will get information later on how it will become available. I'm skipping a part here. We're continuing to work on our enhanced daily shipments. 2 new options will be added in update 099. We'll test the new mechanics as the update goes live. To ensure that we get credible test results, some players will collect their rewards via the old version of daily shipments, while others will receive new ones. This research will also require a random reference group. So I'm not entirely sure on this point what exactly is going to be involved here. Hopefully Wargaming will have another article or a video or something to explain this, but how daily shipments is working, they're going through some testing changes on the live server. So keep an eye out for that. I already mentioned the Bismarck and the Gothic permanent camouflage. The Mainz, which is the premium Tier 8, excuse me, German light cruiser, will be added to the tech tree, and she will be available for 11,000 doubloons. The Tirpitz is being temporarily removed from the tech tree, but she will still be available via the Armory. So I don't know what that means. I don't know what temporary means, so we'll have to see on that. And the next item is that the following test ships have been made available to developers, super testers, and community contributors. I wonder who that might be. So the Heesen, the Z44 Strasbourg, the Plymouth, and the Mysore will all be available for testing. So you'll see them out in random battles now and again. And then there's a few other changes. The last point are mainly bug fixes. I won't go over this. You should read that part of the article if there are bug fixes that you're looking for. The first part is some minor changes on mechanics in the game. Again, I'm not going to go over that. You can read that part of the article. Balance changes, however, I will go over. So Wargaming is making some changes that they announced earlier to a number of ships that are already in the game. The Hawkins, which is the Tier 5 Royal Navy heavy cruiser, her reload is being buffed. The Tier 8 Royal Navy aircraft carrier Implacable, her HE bomb characteristics are also getting a modest buff. The Tier 10 and Tier 9 Soviet heavy cruisers, PetroPavlovsk and the Riga, are both getting some adjustments. So the Petro, her detection is being increased so that she technically will no longer be able to stealth radar, although there's really only like a 100-meter difference between her radar range and her detection. And then the Riga, she is getting a modest buff to her reload from 15 to 14.5 seconds. And she is also, her detection by sea is also being increased slightly. She will still technically be able to stealth radar, but the range, again, will only be about 200 meters. So we'll just keep an eye on that. And then the last update here, and this one's probably more relevant for a larger number of players, is the engine boost modification 1 upgrade is being nerfed for a second time. The increase in the action time on the consumable is being reduced from an additional 40% to an additional 30%. So a pretty long, detailed article on this, and my video is already almost 20 minutes. So yeah, go check out the article if you want to read over some more details that maybe I glossed over. Hopefully this was useful and interesting. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, we hope to see you out there in the virtual seas, and we wish you happy sailing.